Hey everybody, welcome to Carnelian Spirituality and Tarot. My name is Mandy, and today we are going to be talking about intuition, which is one of my favorite subjects of all time. Everything you need to know, how to co-create with it, what is this all about? Let's get started. So first things first, what is intuition? Intuition, simply put, is just when a cat tries to get into your bedroom. So what is intuition? Intuition, simply put, is just that inner knowing within all of us. And using our intuition is super important because it just helps us create our best life. It helps us, it guides us, it directs us, it lets us know that we're on the right path. It can also be used to protect us. Women use our intuition a lot. Like, don't go down the dark alley, or like, this guy seems off. It's fun. So if you're someone that hasn't thought about their intuition or hasn't used it before, how do you tap into it? Also very simple. What I do is I'll sit, sometimes I'll even place my hand on my heart, depends on what kind of mood I'm in. And I will just breathe and ask a question, and eventually the answer comes. Honestly, the answer is usually, you're not supposed to know right now, or be patient, or this isn't the time. And that is annoying as shit. But there are lessons to be learned in that. The unknown is where faith is created. So what's most discussed about using your intuition is usually like, oh my God, follow your heart, use your intuition. Like, it'll be, like yoga pants and messy hair bun all day, woo! And that is great. There's nothing wrong with that. That is all true. But I think what isn't discussed as much is just how much of a motherfucker, how difficult it can be to follow our intuition. It's hard because our intuition doesn't care how we want to get from point A to point B. It only cares about elevating you in the best way as fast as possible. And usually that's jumping from A to H to W to R, back to H, back to, it eventually gets to B, but you're just like, what? And when you look back, you're like, that was an incredible journey. But while you're in it, it's like, it's just not fair. Also, our intuition does not give any shits about what the people in our life care about. Mom and dad's opinion, your cats, your dog, your partner, American culture, don't care. Society, your neighbor. Intuition is just like, I'm here for you and you only. This is how we're gonna elevate, motherfucker. It doesn't matter what your mind wants. It only matters how you can get there as fast as possible, because that's what you want. But it doesn't make any sense, and honestly, sometimes it really sucks. So now I'd like to tell you a couple stories about ways that I've used my intuition, my friends have used their intuition, that have just been like game changers in the stories of our lives. One is from my friend Stacy. I love her, oh my God. So she's been indoors in the pandemic. She lives in Seattle, and she's kind of stayed inside. Like, she's kind of just been like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do anything, whether that's fear, anxiety, or just being smart. She's kind of been stuck indoors. And this one morning she wakes up and just has this bug up her butt telling her to go out. And she was just like, all right, well, finally I feel, something here. And so she goes out, thinks she's going to go get herself some food or something. And she starts driving, and on the way notices that this little girl, 3 or 4-year-old girl, is playing along the side of the highway. And so she pulls up and is like, honey, where's your mommy? And somehow, I don't remember the whole story, but she manages to get this girl back to her apartment. She had to get the police involved, so maybe that was part of it. But she gets this girl back to her apartment, and mom had just fallen asleep on the couch. I mean, I've never done that, but it can happen. Hey again, costume change. My daughter was not having it yesterday with me filming, so I'm just doing the rest of it today at this beautiful lake. So I think I left where I was sharing a story about using my own intuition, and hopefully the birds won't be too loud. They're so happy. So a little backstory. after college, I moved out to Los Angeles to pursue acting and comedy. And it was like the time of my life. I had so much fun, so much laughter. I mean, I had a ton of friends. We were always doing stuff. And it was just a blast. But LA is a very difficult city to survive in, and it can really suck out your soul. And by the end of 8 years, I was just done. I was dating a guy at the time from Chicago, and so I moved out to Chicago. And we broke up very quickly, as all long distance relationships do. But at the same time, there are definitely people out. Oh God, I hate doing this when there are people around. I stayed there for about 4 years just to kind of get on my own feet, and it was the first time in my life I didn't have like a million friends around me to support me, coddle me, hold me. It's okay. You know, there was no Ben and Jerry's late night sessions. You know, it was my first like real breakup, and it was torturous. But by the end of those 4 years, I was just like, you know what? Like, I miss my friends. Like, I'm ready to go back to LA from a place of thriving. You know, I feel like I really knew myself, and I had made some good money. I was able to work my way into upper management, like general management. And I knew that I could go back to LA working in the food industry as a general manager and make decent money. And I could actually enjoy the city and enjoy my friends and go out to eat and do all these things that I didn't even know were in LA, because I was just in a cesspool of despair as an actor. So I tell my friends, it's this whole big thing. I told my best friend on her birthday, I'm moving back to LA, woo! And I get there, and I have an awesome friend whose family has a guest house, and they let me stay in that guest house for a month for free. So that was the deal. I'm a pretty powerful manifester, so I knew that I could do it. Like, I knew, like, okay, I can find a job. I can find, like, we can do this. So I'm at this guest house, and I'm working with some recruiters, and they are all in the food industry, and so they have all of these interviews lined up, and I have a gift. I can pretty much get anything I interview for. I just know how to sell myself. I know how to say, I would love to be of service to your company. Just like integral, I can sell that, and I'm a workaholic, so that's not a hard sell. But going back there, like, they had, the first job they had lined up for me was this big sandwich shop, and it was going to require like a 60-hour work week, and that just, like, I was so sick of it at that point. I just couldn't wrap my brain around. I didn't want to do it. It was just like this gut drop. And I go, and I wasn't offered the job. And the headhunter said, yeah, they didn't really, like, they really liked you, but they didn't think that you were into it. And I was like, oh shit, like, my acting skills. I couldn't sell what wasn't integral to me anymore. It was like I had changed so much and grown so much. It was like I couldn't go back to that way of life. And so I was like, oh, okay. But at this point, my money's running out. This is like week 2. They did another interview. This one was all the way, I was living in the Valley. No, I was living in Pasadena at the time. And this is all the way in Santa Monica. And it's like an hour and a half on a lucky day, getting there one way. And I was open to Santa Monica because Santa Monica has some great restaurants, and I wanted to work where I was proud of. But I get there, and I'm like exhausted already. It was like hot summer, you know, and so I get there, and it was just like nonstop, you know, people out the door, and I just couldn't do it. And so I tell the headhunters, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they did offer me the job, and I'm like, I couldn't do it. And they're like, okay. And I blamed it on the commute. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I know I said Santa Monica, but I just can't. So at this point, they're like, okay, well, we've got one more. And so this place was right in Burbank, not far at all, and super cute little place. Like, would love, love, love to eat there anytime, go there, you know, latte, a little sweet treat, my journal, think about the world, where I want to travel. And the woman who runs it is just kind of type A psycho. She was like, you know, and I get it. Like, she's like, you know, this is my baby. I put everything into this. This is all the money I have, everything. Like, so I will be up your ass. Like, I need a manager who's okay with me being up there. I was like, oh my God. And she was like, yeah, like, I will go home. I will watch the video. Like, she would watch videos of her people. And she's like, if a table hasn't been bussed within 5 minutes, like, I will call you. She's like, I need to know that you're okay with that. And I was like, I'm okay with that, you know, just bright smile, like, yeah, I get it. I have an entrepreneurial spirit, you know, just all that. And the thing is, I have an entrepreneurial spirit. The last thing I want is somebody hovering. Like, I need free reign to do what I'm going to do. I talked to the headhunters. She really liked me, wanted me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't think I can be a general manager. I no longer need your services. And that was crazy. That was so crazy. And they're like, okay, well, you know, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be a baker. Like, are there any baking positions that make good money? And as I'm saying it, like, I'm laughing inside because I know bakers, line cooks, like, they don't make shit. And she's like, yeah, that's not really what we have. I am out of money. Like, that last job, like, I needed that, and I said no to it. But in my gut, I'm just like, this isn't right. And it also wasn't right to like go to Starbucks and just get like a coffee shop job. Like, I can do that. I actually enjoy coffee shop jobs, but I just couldn't do it. I mean, when you're talking about life purpose, I'm a sparkly unicorn. I have a lot of talents, a lot of creative gifts. Like, I don't want to kill myself anymore for somebody else. Like, it's just too hard for me, especially when at this point I feel like I know more. Like, usually people that own places have a ton of money and they're like, I was a stockbroker, now I'm gonna open a cupcakery, and it's like, that's nice, you have no idea what you're doing, yay, and I'm hired. And I just couldn't. So I can't tell anybody because I'm staying at this place for free. I'm out of money. Like, it doesn't make cultural sense. In your mind, it doesn't make sense, right? You agree. So I was terrified. I mean, honestly, I was just absolutely terrified. I couldn't, you know, I had a couple close friends that got me, and like, you know, I could talk to them about it, but I mean, anybody else would be like, what are you gonna do? You need a job, let me figure it out for you. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I honestly, I prayed a lot. I continued to live my life. I saw friends. I journaled like a motherfucker, and I just tried to do whatever felt good. So a couple of days later, I get an email from my aunt randomly. Like, I don't talk to this aunt often at all. She's my kick-ass aunt. She's climbed Mount McKinley twice. She's, oh my gosh, she like skis, she rock climbs, she bikes, she's traveled the world. She's incredible. She was like, hey, Chop. She calls me Chop, her littlest lamb Chop. When we were younger, it was a thing, and now it's just Chop. Hey, Chop, why'd you move back to LA when you could have moved to the middle of nowhere to be a baker? And I stared at that email like, what? It was like one of those movie moments where everything's swirling and swirling and it just stops and like zones in on this one thing. And I just knew. I'm like, the middle of nowhere, that sounds like adventure. Yes. And I just emailed her back immediately and I was like, what is this? What's going on? Tell me about it. And she lives in a mountain town of 200 in Washington State. And it's Seattle's playground, so they'll come over, come to the bakery, they'll rock climb, cycle, cross-country ski. It's like the largest cross-country skiing paths in the world. Just pristine. Oh my God, the air quality. Well, when there's not fires, but the air quality and the water is just like, it's like the most delicious water. Oh God, I miss that water every day. And she's like, yeah, it's just, you know, this little hole-in-the-wall bakery. It's an amazing bakery. They do incredible stuff. There's lines out the door in the summer, but you know, the people who run it are super nice, and you can stay with us for the summer. Do you want to work here for the summer? And I was like, peace out, bitches. And I pretty much disappointed every friend in my life and told them I was going to Washington. That's how your intuition works. Yeah. And I was just supposed to stay for the summer. So I literally had to borrow $400 from my sister just to get up to Washington. But oh my God, you guys, like, it was just so beautiful. It's like the Swiss Alps of America. So beautiful. The hiking, like, I got to rock climb, I got to hike, I got to kayak, I got to, like, it was just amazing. I saw the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And I got to learn how to make the most amazing rustic artisan bread, hand-rolled pastries, croissants, like, you name it. Like, I had to get up at 4 in the morning every day, but I was like, happy to do it. Like, I just loved my job, and the people who ran it did not give any fucks about life. Like, they just like, there were no sales goals, there was no anything. If anything, it drove me nuts because I have a Virgo ascendant, and I like to be very organized and sales driven, and it was just like, oh yeah, we're out of that. Oh yeah, there's a line out the door, there's nothing in the case. Like, oh well. Like, it was just the most laid back. Like, I didn't have to be that type A leader, powerhouse, I'm a general manager. I didn't have to do any of that. And I started low, but I didn't care because I was staying at my aunt's, so whatever, as long as I could pay my bills, it was just for the adventure of it. And so throughout, I got raises, and I was able to buy a house. I bought a fucking house, like, which is an impossibility to me. Like, if you had ever told me I would own a house, and in that area, it's tourist central. So it's kind of like where I live now, outside of Asheville, the tourists drive up the prices. So I found this little tiny gem of a place that nobody wanted because there was like this folklore about the roof being moldy or like, I don't know, whatever. And I talked to the contractor, I talked to everybody, and I was like, it's in good shape. Like, this is good to go. And I got the house, and so what I should have done is got that job in Santa Monica and like killed myself, and I would have had a heart attack by now and I'd be dead. But when you follow your intuition, so much opens up. It's divine. Now, why is this important? It's important because when we co-create with the universe, when we are open to feeling what we're supposed to do, saying, this is what I really want, bring it to me. Not thinking, because thinking is how we all do life. It's very cultural. And it doesn't always happen like magically, like an email out of nowhere, but oftentimes if you get out of the way, the universe is like, oh, thank God, and got her out of there. Now we can actually do this thing. And that was like such a miracle. So crazy. It was so outside the box for her to email me that at that time when I said I wanted to be a baker and make good money. You can't make those choices in your life and go back to any other kind of way of life. And truthfully, I am totally in that boat right now. I feel called to give up my photography studio. At the end of the week I am. It's my last month in there. I wasn't making bank with it or anything, but I loved my job. I love photographing people. I love the artistry, the creativity of it. But ultimately I feel, I'm telling all my friends and family, like, yeah, I'm still gonna shoot and I'm still gonna whatever. I owe people in my life money. I am the most in debt I've ever been in my entire life. I'm going through a divorce. There's like 18 million things, gallbladder surgery, but I feel like I'm being called to the spirituality channel. No, I don't think I know enough. I don't think I know how to make these videos. I don't think I can, whatever. But I feel called to this. It doesn't feel like a venture. It feels like a calling. And You got to answer the call. So anyway, you guys, I hope that this resonated with somebody. I hope you take time out of your day today to feel your way into what your next step is. Choices are hard, man. I'm a Libra. It's like, but the gifts, the rewards, oh my God, like I would not change any of my life. I wouldn't even change this right now. I'm here talking to my phone like an asshole. Well, people walking by on this beautiful day. And I'm excited for what's next. I have no idea. I haven't gotten the email yet, you guys. It's terrifying, but if I can do it, you can do it. And I cannot wait to tell you one day, this is what happened to me because I followed my intuition. Okay? I love you all. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe. Tell your friends and family you think that it would resonate with. And I will see you in my next video. Mwah.